Maybe you were wondering we weren't going to go on tonight. Maybe you were wondering we were going to burn. Maybe you were wondering I'm so sick as a dog that maybe we're going to certainly take the night off and who knows whatever else. But not so fast, ladies and gentlemen. We ain't taking off by a long shot because we've got a man that is going to talk about what's ahead here, especially, well, the collective could be collecting more championships, more tag team championships. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're certainly going to talk about what's ahead here this Saturday, WVWF. We're going to talk about a huge match coming up with our guest in JICW. Yeah, you know we're going to be talking about that. SCW, you know we're definitely talking about that. We are definitely going to be talking about what happened at USWA, whereas the collective retained those tag team championships of the world. Maybe we'll bring up some legendary names that our guest is trained under. Maybe we'll talk about some other familiar faces that our guest has plenty of history with. And who knows, whatever else. Plus, I'll have a little surprise for our guest and give him a little something because, after all, we know the collective is always about collecting things. And after all, I got to give them something else. They're going to put the bounty on my head. And we don't want that, especially with the state of mind that they're in, especially after some other events and other places that they've worked in and different places not to be named here. But, ladies and gentlemen, I know that our guest has been certainly well aware of Sportswire Radio, even though I'm a little under the weather, and certainly I wish I could, well, maybe be on my 6th or 7th bottle of water. I have got to give our guest that introduction in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, and is certainly Mr. Def Leppard's frontman, Joe Elliott, always says, let's get rocked, baby, because the chat's waiting for it, our guest is waiting for it, and he wants to collect that introduction here on Sportswire Radio, the #1 global radio station where all music and wrestling matters. So with that, wait for it. Further ado, here on the Sports Report, #1 Gamble Sports Show. He is one half of the USWA Tag Team Champions of the World. He's the kaiju of the squared circle. His name is simply put. Well, the The champ is here, my friend. How are we doing?
Well, we're doing real good over here. It seems like you're under the weather. Hope you can get your breath, get your water in between.
Yeah, I got my water. Yeah, well, I've been worse on this platform. I've had no voice on here. My head's hurting. I mean, I'm about halfway at that point. But listen, you're a man that has been long in demand on this platform. You've got a lot to talk about. And I'm going to certainly not take the day off here because you're a busy man and you want to collect here, and I don't want that to be on my head. So it is an absolute honor to have you here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage. And I want to talk about what's ahead here coming up. I'm going to put that poster up shortly because for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform, you, Ampo, and the collective have certainly helped build Sportswire Radio to the tune of over 1,500 subscribers. Tell us, what can we expect this Saturday? WVWF and maybe some tag team gold on the horizon?
Well, we're always ready to collect championships, ready to bring us chaos. And it seems that this Saturday in Parkersburg, we have the Psycho one day. He's defending his Keystone State championship.
Mm.
And as of this moment, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I do know there's a certain championship open challenge. And I'll throw my name in that hat.
Ooh, you are throwing your name in that hat, so you want to collect more gold.
Yes. Everywhere that has my sweat, my blood, my tears in that ring, I'm ready to collect gold in every promotion I step my foot in.
And obviously, Day has certainly been a key part of things in WVWF, and so have you. And the collective keeps growing, and you guys have talked about getting more championships. You guys also talked right after your match, your last one here in the WVWF, that you did want those tag team championships as well.
Yes, because it seems that when the most recent champs, they didn't show up. They took their time, they held the title. They were acting like Brock Lesnar, acting like Roman Reigns show up when they want to. And now since they're vacated, it's time to show WWF what a collective is, first of all, professional as possible, and time to show people what true champions are.
And, you could even make the case that maybe it was a good thing that they didn't want to stay in WVW because what you have been doing lately and what Day has been doing lately and the rest of the collective, maybe it's a good idea that they did forfeit or basically decide not to show up much longer in WVW because I think eventually you guys would have collected on them. So maybe they did what's best for their careers.
Yeah, so if they both would have showed up at the same time, we're always asking for a challenge. So they didn't want to. Both of them had different plans on their careers. So titles got vacated, and now we're going to pick them up.
No question about that. I'm going to put the poster up here in a minute when it comes to the WVWF, and obviously we'll certainly see what happened. It's a very big card here coming up. We've got Damian Abel and the Prodigy in a grudge match. We've been talking a lot about Damian Abel because James Enoch, the Chemical Gunslinger, has been a recent topic on this platform. We've talked about the Orchestrator. We've obviously talked about what's ahead here when it comes to, let's say, what you say. And speaking of that for a minute, because you did talk about the open challenge. You talked about, obviously, Mr. Dax Preacher. And, so why him, though? Why want to put your name in the hat for this open challenge, especially when it comes to the Mountain State Championship? Why is that something that you want to target?
Hey, right time, wrong person. That's all I got to say. I don't care who has that title. I'm here to make my suitcase heavier. And one day, take a picture like Ultimate Dragon,
Okay, that's fair. But also, I think the motivation would be, you talked about Day, right? Day, we know, is defending his USWA Keystones Championship. And obviously, Day has been on an amazing run of late. And Day has become one of my favorites. You've been brought up in the past, obviously, with my old friends, Mr. Thomas Taft and the Stomper. So I'm well aware of you for quite a while. But do you think also maybe it's motivation seeing that, what? Day has collected singles gold. Sure, you've got tag gold currently, but there's a certainly different feeling of winning singles gold, especially in a company like WWF where you've competed before. You've been in the ring with the likes of our current champion, Aaron James, and why not be that guy to hold another singles championship in your decorated career, but also show that, you know what, it's just more than what you've done currently, and this only, I think, has to motivate you.
Most definitely. You see, when me and Aaron James went at it, it was for the WWF heavyweight title, and now I've lost both attempts because of outside interference, but we'll just leave that at that. But now, new opportunities, new challengers, new champions. At the end of the day, it's just going to be me holding up a new title every weekend.
For sure. I think that's a good point. That's a very good point because, you know, you want to add in your career. You want to go out there and show, hey, you know what? Look at what we're doing. And let me ask you, what has made the collective such a collective, successfully group of late?
See, as of late, it's about the, how can I say this? We all know what we want, right? And so don't always have to be good guys, don't always have to be bad guys. But we always have the same two ideals in mind. That's blood championships and bring chaos over there. So it seems that recently almost all of us has had titles almost all at the same time. And the previous installment was with the collective. Some people kept thinking about themselves more than the team as a whole, which made us lose certain important matches in our careers. Now, with one foot falls off, the wheel keeps going, and we fix repairs as we move. So, with me, with that as a USWA champion, and Day as the Keystone State champion, it just shows who out the group is focused, we're ready, and we're just tired of being overlooked, you can say.
Sure, and obviously I do want to come back to the WVWF for a minute because we've got here a big show coming up, Summer Clash, and Summer has come in here with quite a punch here, especially if you're in the Big Apple or in the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic, because all of a sudden last week at this time it was 60 degrees and now it feels like 600 degrees, and that's going to continue here coming up this Saturday. And the doors are at 6 o'clock is when they open. Bell time 7 o'clock Eastern time. Tickets are just only $10. What a deal. Listen, I went to see Mission Impossible and Ballerina in the last few weeks before I was sick, and I spent double that and some. And that's not counting the popcorn, the soda, all that shebang. So go out there and support our friends in the WVWF. We love the WVWF. We see so many of our favorites here. Obviously, we see certainly Mr. Preacher and certainly Mr. Jameson. We see Aaron James, James Enoch. We see so many of our familiar faces. All of our champions are on this photo. By the way, how about this, Mr. Ampo? We've got, well, this little company, I don't know, named what we're on Sportzwire Radio. We're on the poster. So we've seemed to have accomplished something. But no, I'm only kidding. But thank you to the good people in the WVWF for being kind enough to put our logo on there. And we love the WVWF. And as I always say, Mr. Ampo, I've got it memorized, the address, 325 7th Street, the Richardson Building in Parkersburg, West Virginia. I've got it memorized just as much as my two home addresses I've lived in throughout my life. So I haven't been there yet, but who knows? But obviously, we're very excited about the WVWF. But, you know, I do want to ask you about Day Jameson for a minute, because Day Jameson obviously wrestles the artist formerly known as Fuego del Sol. He is always a topic here on Sportswire Radio. You have tagged with him. You have wrestled against him. You have been in a group with him now for quite a while. And, I mean, what has made Day the competitor and who he is over the last year that you've been either competing against him or now side by side with him?
See, we're always side by side. That's the thing. It's like when when things got tough for him and he couldn't fix his schedule to train and get into wrestling. I was there like, hey, I'll help you out as much as I can. Now he is definitely a hot hit. I can say that.
Well, I've had plenty of guys on this platform over the years. I'm sure you've seen that. Let's just say they can go just like Day and maybe even make Day look tamer. So Day might be a certain character and might have those characteristics, but I've seen plenty of guys that have done just like Day, and maybe even some cases I've had to bring out things like the sound box where we go, things like that. So don't feel too bad there. But yeah, he's still an amazing talent, Day.
Yeah, because so I help him out. I'll put the best off on the rest because he's been training since what 10, 12. He stepped
Yeah.
in the ring.
Yeah.
So he stepped in the ring early, stepped out. Life happens, and when he came back, everybody's like, "Yeah, we want you to come. We want you to come work out here, work out there." But nobody wanted to fix the schedule for him. So I told him, "Hey, I got these same days you have free. I'll come. I'll help you out." And because of that, we grew a bond that's basically brothers.
Yeah.
And sometimes when he doesn't listen and he gets a little hot headed, we end up going 15 minutes just punching each other in the face.
Well, obviously, those are certainly things that they're out there, but obviously, there's no question that you and Day are tremendous competitors. And I want to ask you something else. I'm going to put a picture up of you and him together shortly. But, obviously, you come from the learning tree of Lee Moriarty. And Day, who just wrestled, certainly Mr. Artist formerly known as Fuego del Sol, now KJ Orso at the moment, talked about here on this platform that he wanted still in the ring Lee Moriarty. You've obviously come from that tree. You've learned from Mr. Moriarty, and you think Day's ready for that or what?
Well, so Day has known him longer than I have, and every time we do tape study, he's always pulling up a random match that we had. And I wouldn't put my money on either of them, but I'll definitely sit there with a box of popcorn and watch.
That's a pretty good answer, actually. I mean, listen, I pretty much expected that. Yeah, I mean, I think we'd all want to get the popcorn ready and make sure it's a large popcorn and to steal Godric Sandwell's line, get a preferred beverage with that. And it'll definitely be a match that I would hope to see happen. And I think that Day should definitely get that match because, well, he said it here on Sportswire. You could see the collective there. You could see Mr. Ampo and obviously Mr. Jameson. And obviously, you could see the guys there pointing out in places they've been, like SCW. They've been in Pro Wrestling Cheap Shots and a number of great other places. They've been extremely successful, and you can see some of the things of what the guys have done. You can check them out on Instagram, Facebook, and they were recently just in action at SCW. You can see some of that footage, and we are here with the one and only Ampo the Destroyer. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, where all music and wrestling it matters. Okay, I will come back to this. There's no question. I'll have plenty to talk about here with that. But you've got a pretty big match in your own right coming up that I want to talk about for a few minutes because you got one here that is really, really going to be just the definition of a banger here coming up in August. And it's not that far away. It's crazy, Ampo, because I feel like yesterday it was January 1st. Now today is June 23rd going on June 24th. And August 9th, last I checked, is 6 weeks from now. And I'm going to put this poster up. And why is August 9th important? Well, it's because you got a match here against the reigning defending open weight champion here in JICW against John Scrutch. And talk to me about what's ahead here because you are going to Indiana.
Yep, about to say Lazy Days Festival, uh, home from home, Indiana. You see, it's about almost been about a year since I've been there, man. Hard to say. So I walked in, I see who had titles and who didn't. So I already had my eyes on who I need to worry about. And back in February, the whole company turned on its head. Every champion changed, and now we have the new champion. And from watching him, it seems that he kind of has it, but I think I wanted more. More.
So let me ask you this question. Obviously, you've been doing this a while. You've certainly have had a lot of experience. You've held gold in certainly other places. You've got one half of the USWA Tag Team Championships. But how do you prepare for an opponent that you obviously haven't wrestled before? I'm always curious, especially a guy like you that is a veteran. I mean, how do you prepare for something or someone in the ring that you haven't seen before?
Well, so you call me a veteran.
Well, I mean, you got 129 matches. Technically, you've got 129 matches under your belt. I mean, compared to some people on my platform, you kind of are. I mean, I can't call you a rookie.
And I mean, I just stay humble. I don't really. There's times that will happen where I'm labeled a vet, and I just don't see it because my veterans are 20 years in.
Sure. No, I mean, obviously, there's veterans that have, been out there, but you're obviously somebody that's, you've got some experience. Let's leave it at that. So how do you prepare for somebody still that you haven't seen in the ring? I always find it fascinating, especially it's a match that's a lot on the line here. What's that going to be like for you?
Well, every fight has its own thoughts. So first of all, tape study, that's always a must. Even if they don't have nothing online, they're on the show. You always have to watch the show to see. You never know who you're going to get put up against. But now he has a top title, even though this is not for the title. I learned from all my mistakes when I went for top titles in companies. I was always ahead of myself. I overthought, and when I didn't have it, I thought it was in the bag. So it's all about calculations and patience and making sure every move counts.
That's a good point. I think that's a good point. Sometimes we don't learn from our mistakes. You said something interesting. I want to go back to that. And you talked about tape studying. Some guys come on here and they're all about that. I had one wrestler from a company in Arkansas that told me, who's a champion, said that he doesn't really tape study because he needs to just go out there and kind of come up with the match in his own. And there are some wrestlers that also kind of just say, I'm going to go out there and I'll talk to my opponent. We'll figure it out. But for you, since you brought up tape studying, what are some of the things that you study? Do you study John Scrutch? Do you study somebody that you try to emulate? Do you study your own work to prepare? What's the tape studying going to be like in this case when it comes to John Scrutch for August 9th?
Well, first of all, it's definitely I'll give about 70% of the time for his matches to see how he moves, what he does, so I can have the advantage of if he tries to something and I can see it coming from a mile away, I won't get hit with that. Then it goes to people I consider mentors, even though I haven't met them in person, watch their classic matches, see why they move the way they move. And then the last 10% is me breaking down my previous matches to where I hate myself afterwards.
That's a really interesting way to bring that up because you broke it down. Some guys are just like, hey, I'll sit there. I see Andrew Lovelace here, and Andrew's been on here a bunch of times, and he would talk about just different wrestlers from, a certain heyday. And then there are others that may just study somebody they like. But you said you broke it down in percentages. I thought that was really interesting what you just said there.
Well, at the end of the day, this is a professional business. You have to treat this industry like you're clocking in and clocking out any other job. So whoever you're going against, you always wants to know what they're thinking, what they could be thinking, so just in case if they don't think that, you could be two steps ahead of them, just like a chess game. And I know for me myself, I'm always my worst critic, so I can have the Dave Meltzer fast forward match, and I'll be so mad. I messed up on that. That could have been better. She never did that. I'm definitely super for doing that. So it's like you beat yourself down to where you can build yourself back up,
Yeah.
and you just have to be locked in at all times.
Well, don't beat yourself up too much. You seem to be doing a pretty good job out there because you got one half of the USWA Tag Team Championships. You're going to be in action this weekend for the WVWF. You're going to be in action the following weekend, SCW. And you got this match with this guy, John Scrutch, who, by the way, is taking a selfie with some guy, CM Punk. So it seems like you're doing all right these days. So don't beat yourself up too much, considering what's going on out there and what you're up to. So you're definitely doing a pretty good job. I'd love to ask you this question because you've got a little bit of experience, and I think you would maybe be a good person to ask because I haven't had someone on in a while who even has your type of experience in the last few weeks. And what advice would you give to anybody out there that's looking to go and maybe either make the transition from the backyard or the underground to being a pro wrestler or maybe going out there and becoming a pro wrestler? What advice would you give to anybody?
The advice I'll give, just like the advice I was given to me, was research whatever area you're at, see what schools are available, and it's more than just Google pro wrestling schools or how to be a professional wrestler. It's more of we've all heard and seen career-ending situations in the ring. So
Yeah.
wanting to do this and pursuing it is two different things.
Sure.
Like we all know those people that say that do it just to say, "Oh, I wrestle on the weekends," and then we know the people who busted their behind and put all 10 toes on the ground and pushed it to be on TV, to be in a different country, to be where their top goals are, where their popular stars. So I'll definitely say research, see who's in the area, then research their work. Um, go to an independent show, ask around during like intermission, even though wrestlers are there to try to sell merchandise. I know a few good ones that I'll sit there and talk to for a little bit. So research, invest in yourself. Just know that after training and after being done with the school, you're still always learning. There's no like, okay, I know this and I'm done. So yeah, I was always told if you're not learning, you should hang it up. So
Yeah, it's funny that you said that because I had tried to play music and my dad was a drum teacher for a while and he played in bands and my mother sings and once in a while listens, but I think she fell asleep. It's too hot for her tonight to stay to tune into Sportswire. But my dad would always say, "There's always somebody out there that's better than you. I'm always learning." So I think it's a good way to look at things because there's always somebody out there that is going to do something that you may not know. So if you want to check out some of the things that Ampo has to offer, I would highly encourage you to check him out on Instagram. You can follow him on some of the different dates. He's got a link tree there. He's got some other places he's been, other places that he would like to go to or come back to, and some other promos. He's certainly been a staple of places like SCW. He's been to places of obviously USWA and WVWF and JICW we spoke about. And obviously this guy that we talked about, and certainly Mr. Day Jameson. Yeah, I figured I'd throw that out there because I know Day's here, and shout out to the collective, and there you go. There's the group, and I got to ask you then. Speaking of which, your other half of the USWA Tag Team Champions, Lestat. I've talked about Lestat quite a bit in the past. Obviously, Pro Wrestling Cheap Shots comes to mind. I mentioned my old friends, the Stompers, Mr. Thomas Taft, who just messaged me a few days ago, was like, "Bro, how you been?" I was like, "I'm good." I was just about to get a cold, and he was like, "Well, football season's coming, and it's time for me and the boys to come back." But enough about that. But talk to me about your other half of the USWA Tag Team Champions, Lestat, and what has made him the partner that he's been with you to keep these tag team championships.
Well, if you mention Lestat, the first thing that comes to mind is the man's bananas. So,
Yep.
I mean, I'll say, but in other words, we're all crazy,
Yeah, we all have our own, quirks. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, especially of course being wrestlers, we dress up as spandex and slam each other. So.
Hey, listen, I did war chant intros to introduce you. So listen, I've got mutton chops that I won't get rid of, and so we've all got quirks. That's why we're all either wrestling fans or, listen, my buddy was trained by Amazing Red, who's a pro wrestler. He's in New Jersey, Chris Urban, and he was in a heavy metal band. He decided, hey, almost 40 years old, I want to be a pro wrestler. So you know what? We all have a love for this sport. So that's why we're here.
Well, yeah, what's that? I mean, he knows how to help me dial back a little bit. That makes sense.
Yeah,
I'll be full focused on it, ready to tear everyone's heads off, and he's like, just relax. And then he'll show me a picture of like Charles trying to do a moonsault on the second rope. And I'm like, how is a banana doing a moonsault on the second rope? Well, that's the point. But yeah, so Lestat is like whatever. He's been in this game longer than me, so whatever I might not react too quick, he's there. So I have his back, he has my back, and we just back to back, transform, and take on all the comers.
What does that mean to you to be alongside Lestat, the USWA Tag Team Champions?
I mean, it solidifies the nights where we talked, and it was basically what are we doing wrong so we can get where we want to go. It's like there's times where when I had to bring the group back because of a sudden entity of people that were trying to disturb a promotion. So he was one of the people I reached out to, and he understood what needed to be done, and he always puts the team first instead of worrying about what he has to do. So when it came to this tag gauntlet and us getting an invitation for it, we both looked at each other like, it's time to show up and show out.
It's a good point. I think that's what makes tag team partners. He's got your back. You've got his. You've talked about his experience out there. You've talked about the championship itself, and that's exactly why the collective is what it is, and you can see some of that. And we'll get to the chat in a few minutes. And as I stated, if you are here, please follow Ampo on Instagram. We'll have something for him in a little while, and we're very honored to have him. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally. We're all music and wrestling matters. And if you're here on Sportzwire Radio, hit the like button for us, give us a follow. And we're here with Mr. One and Only Ampo, the Destroyer. And, I had to ask you this question because certainly we brought up Lee Moriarty, but you've got also your own dealings with Mr. EC3, a man who's just had certainly quite an interesting career. I always feel like he's one of those guys that I really feel like he should get more recognition, which is crazy as it sounds, because he he had such an unbelievable run in TNA and such. But certainly you come from his learning tree as well. And talk to me about EC3 and what was it like certainly learning from him?
Well, before show, he had a seminar, and what we all slowly figured out was a evaluation for Exodus Pro before it was even thought of or any pen and paper. So yeah, there it is. That's right there. So during the seminar, we just picked, we showed what we could do, picked his brain as much as possible. What the thing was, when me and him had time to conversate, it was like when two old friends just like picked up right where they left off.
Yeah.
But it's like we never met at all in person. That was the first time we ever met, but we just picked it up like we were two old friends. But yeah, like definitely after his match for the night out, I asked a couple questions about it. He asked me a couple questions about it. Uh, and yeah, he gave me some good advice that literally helped me and Jay become who we are now. And hey, one day, hopefully, I can be a part of Exodus.
Why not? I mean, listen, I mean, you've certainly been moving up the ladder. I mean, Day obviously had the match of certainly a lifetime. So I only think the best is yet to come. So I have no doubt that you'll certainly get that opportunity because, listen, wrestling, what I've learned in all my years, it's such a small world. Every time I come on Sportswire, there's always somebody that goes, and I'll bring a guest on, and I'll go, oh, I know them, or we'll know somebody that knows somebody. I've been doing this. I've been doing this for 6.5 years. I've been covering wrestling for 5. So I can't tell you enough how much the wheel goes round and round and round. So I have no doubt that the best is yet to come. And we're here with Ampo the Destroyer. I'm going to get to the chat because I want to give you something. And I want to promote SCW. I want to talk about a couple of other places here. And we're very honored to have the one and only Kaiju of the Squared Circle himself. And Zilla is always here with us each and every night. And Zilla would like to say nice to meet you. And thank you, Zilla, for being here once again. I couldn't do as long of an intro as I like, but I still gave it the best I can. And all wrestling definitely matters. And he's here. And, he wanted to be here last night because we were talking about different things I don't want to get into. But I told him, well, he ended the show. But he's here now. And I really hope to see him on there. But, I want to say one thing about Dave Jameson, if you don't mind, because I know you talked about, he's been in this for a while. He's wanted to be in it since he's 12. I saw the video package, before he wrestled Fuego del Sol, and now KJ Orso, his stuff from the backyard. But I go back, I had him on in December. I had him on. And the reason I had him on was because of Thomas Taft. Thomas Taft and the Stompers, I had mentioned, are friends of mine. I go back with them a little while. They've done some stuff in some other places that I've covered. So, as I said, wrestling's such a small world. I think Day, in the last 7 months or whatever it is, right, 7 or 8 months since his first time on here, or I'll even go back to October, the first time I watched him wrestle, and I watched him in Pro Wrestling Cheap Shots. I think his progress has come most in this short amount of time. And I really think, regardless, I know you talked about him being a hothead, other things, and I think that stuff will sort itself out because I've seen that. He'll mature. He'll get it. He's got a great kid. He's got great talent. I think he'll get it. But I think in the next 6 or 7 months from now, this kid is going to go even farther places. I'm sure you're probably telling him, maybe not say as much on certain things, but regardless, I think from where I seen him the first time I met him to the last time I met him, and then maybe the next time I meet him, I think this kid's going to really be a lot of places. And just talk to me about maybe that progress.
Well, you see that he always pushes himself, right? So it's if I'll say it's just like me, we'll sit down and watch everything, and he's like, "Hey, what you think?" And I'll tell him, and then literally next hour it's fixed. Like the hunger that he has is something a lot of people don't have. A lot of people wait, like, okay, let me just slowly walk the line until it's my turn. No, he usually throws like like a smoke bomb in the back, so that everybody turns around and cuts their fucking line. But not in a bad way. It's just that. But at the end of the day, it's more of he gave himself his own biggest goal, right? So
Yeah.
he's definitely he wants to be on TV, and I don't blame him.
No, you know what? And
So,
that's the thing that comes up a lot with guys. I had a guy that just won a title in 814 wrestling, D Savage. Another guy that I've seen really make a huge leap in the last like year and a half. And, he just wrestled Tommy Invincible, who's, a really big deal in his own right. And he talked about the same thing. And he said, I want to be on TV. And there are certain guys, I think, that come on here that have that look. D Savage certainly. And I think Dave Jameson comes to mind as another one of those guys that has that look that they're going to put it all together, whether it's 6 months from now or whether it's whenever that time may be. And I just really think, in terms of who he is, when I had him on, like I said, back like 8 months ago, whatever it was, right? I think that wrestling wise, he had the ability, but I think what you're starting to see now a little bit from him is that personality. Maybe it's the music side, maybe it's that cockiness, but I think you're starting to see some of that. And I think that his potential, he reminds me of another guy, Ace Christian, who's about to celebrate a birthday. Happy birthday to him. A guy that's coming on here very soon. Another guy, young talent, probably right behind a Dave Jameson in terms of where he's going to be. And there are certain guys that they're going to put it together. It's only a matter of when and not if. So, Day, I could definitely see some of your points. And hashtag SSTS, there you go. And thank you, Day. Thank you very much. Hello, hello. And I know who this person is, Collective Country. Yes, you can cough. You're one half of the USWA Tag Team Champions. You can do whatever you want, Mr. Ampo. And how you doing? And speaking of somebody, I got to mention him. This is my favorite thing to say. Daniel Tafura! Anything you want to say about him?
well, it's what most people don't know. With Dave being my first student when it comes to teaching, Dave Tafura.
It's my favorite thing to say. I got to be honest. I say it even when he's not here.
See, Daniel is another student of mine, and I'm sorry, it's weird for saying that I'm students, it's weird. I'm still not used to it.
Don't feel bad. I'm doing this 6.5 years, and I see people that I interviewed like overseas and other places, and I'm like, oh, I know you. So don't feel. And then they go to like really big places. So yeah, don't feel too bad. I've seen it just doing this over the years.
Yeah, so I was about to say, Danny has definitely showed the hunger that he needed to prove that, hey, I'm not just here just to like have fun. He wants to go far with it. I really do go far with it. It's all about small little tweaks and turns and spins of the gear, but he's definitely going to get really fun.
You said something interesting, and you talked about students, and I was wondering, do you want more students? Do you want a opportunity for doing those schools do come up a bit on Sportswire. I had Gary Wolf on here not too long ago. We talked about the Monster Factory. I brought up Amazing Red and the House of Glory dojo here in Queens, not too far from me. My buddy Chris Urban, the Urban Warrior. So do you want more students or what?
Oh man, see, you just want to just have the exclusives all the time.
I'm on prime time, baby. I got 1,500 subscribers. I've had Rhino here, Savio Vega here. I got to get bundles here later in the week. I mean, listen, you're in the only place that, this is the bright lights, baby. I got literally like 10 lights in the back of me. I mean.
All right, Sportswire Radio exclusive. I am in the final steps of opening my own wrestling academy.
Whoa! You want to repeat that again? I want to make sure my ears are needing to be checked.
2025, 2026, the collective wrestling dojo will start.
Oh, listen, you know what? Forget about the Monster Factory now. Forget about the House of Glory Dojo. Forget about the Team 3D Academy. Forget about, I just had on two guys, D'Angelo Flame, Mickey Vargas, who are going to Houston to go up there where everybody knows Booker T School. The collective academy. Listen, you know what? I tell you what, school is in session 25, 26. I mean, I know for us here in the Northeast, school is coming to an end, but class is definitely in session when certainly Mr. Ampo, the Destroyer, is going to be there. Who knows? Dave Jamieson could be getting in your face if you're not doing too much in the ring. Maybe Lestat will be there. You don't want to slip on a banana peel. I mean, who knows? Daniel Tafua might show up from the shadows. Tafua! Who knows? Godric Samuel may show up, devil in a blue coat. I mean, just you never know out there. But don't bring Max Hammer with the hammer there. Hammer.
We might have to call OSHA and come do it.
Yeah, you know what? And speaking of which, there is Andrew Lovelace, my good friend, Mr. Andrew Lovelace. But yeah, definitely, I will tell you what, that will be quite a school, and I will recommend that to many of my wrestlers. And also, shout out to my friend, Mr. D Savage, because he's learning from Alpha, obviously Alpha Junior in Battlefield over there. If I don't mention Battlefield, I will be certainly hung there because Mr. Savage is coming on here, and Alpha Junior occasionally listens to me on Sportswire. That's what I'm told. I don't like to get too big of a head like you, but I was told that Mr. Savage, Alpha Junior's seen some of your clips on Instagram. He listened to the interview and he liked you. All right, well, good enough. Thank you very much. But definitely, thank you, Day. Yes, thank you, Day. Yeah, I'm happy that if Dave Jamieson likes me, I'll take Dave Jamieson over Alpha Junior. But yeah, Bleep. Well, yes. Thank you very much. Thank you, Daniel. And hello to everybody. Yes. And yes, I could see that student versus teacher is now turned into brothers. And there you go. Speaking of which, Collective Country. Yes. Collective Country. WVWF related, I see. Yes, we're very excited about the show here, Summer Clash. I'm excited about that. We have coming on here, James Enoch is back here in a few weeks. Maverick is coming on here in I think he's here next week. I think Maverick's here next week. So a lot of WVWF coverage to head. And yeah, I'm not going to ask you about the orchestrator, though. I don't think I'm going to go down that road because we did that with James Enoch, and it got a little bit dicey there.
Well, I gotta say about the orchestrator is.
Yeah, that's what we were trying to figure out with Mr. Enoch, and then it turned into a whole thing about other things, and then we never got to the bottom of it. So I'm not going to ask you about who the orchestrator is. I'm just not. Although I will tell you it's not Wyatt Black because he got an offer from the orchestrator because he was here and talked about an offer he got from the orchestrator. But we're not even going to go there. But we'll leave that at that. But yes, sir. Thank you, Day. Hashtag SSTS. Give Ampo a follow on Instagram. And I got more comments here. Let me get to some of them because now I got a bunch of them. Yeah, that would be good. I think we talked about it once or twice when I was covering a company that I will leave out of my mouth for the moment. But yeah, if he would like to come on, yeah, I try to be, I might try a career stand-up comedy. Maybe more people will tune in. But I actually have one of my buddies who was I worked in the world of politics, Steven Saperstein. He was a stand-up comedian for a little while. So, he always tells me I should try that instead of doing this. But obviously, yeah, maybe we'll get the Banana Man on. Hopefully I won't slip on a banana peel. But yeah, EC3 is definitely awesome. I love EC3. Speaking of people, my buddy, the legendary Mr. Doc Holliday, who this past weekend, well, he did some bleeding, and it was definitely real blood, and I got to get him on to talk about that next month. Yeah, don't get soft. Yeah, you're not getting soft. Don't you worry about that. You're not getting soft. And the Psycho Prince, a hothead. Most definitely. Yeah. Leave that at that. I think we know what we're talking about. You already know. Tafu! Yes, hello there, Mr. Doc Holliday. Hi. Geez, I wonder how I know well. Let's see. You almost kicked my shoulder and head off for the USWA Keystone Championship. Well, they got some history. And by the way, Mr. Tafua also has some gold in USWA. What is your thoughts on that also?
Well, I wasn't there when he won it. I was actually doing double shotting and shut the deal earlier. But when I walked into the building, he's just sitting in the back with a new title. I'm like, "You win that?" He said, "Yeah." I'm like, "Did you win that?" So, congratulations to the new USWA Universal Champion.
The way
Then
you
you know,
said that, I got to be honest, Mr. Ampo, the way you said that was definitely, I don't think I've heard one of those in my time on here.
because it's like you can wrestle, but like did you win?
No, you know what? I hadn't thought of it that way. You know, like you said, you learn something new every day. But I'm sure Mr. Tafua will be here to talk about that. He wanted to talk about that yesterday, but it really wasn't quite the time. But we'll figure out a time and place to talk about that. And he did, though, want to say thank you for the kind words.
You know,
Well,
getting soft on
and
me.
and I will say hello to Mr. Brohemoth. I definitely know who Brohemoth is, and I'll check out 888-880 Wrestling, and maybe I'll follow Brohemoth and ask him to come on to talk about it. But anything you want to say to Brohemoth? Anything you got on your mind for him?
All I have to say is, no, I'm just joking. Be well, be well.
You can say what you want
Stay
on here. I mean, if you want to curse, I'll just put the bleep button out. But if you want to say something, you could say it here. We're in
no,
prime time.
no. There's no. I just say I forgive to forget,
Mm.
and I let I've learned to let things go.
Ah,
So
yeah. Bygones be bygones.
best wishes, good health, live to be old.
Okay, well, you know what? I certainly hope to live till tomorrow. It's so hot that this has been such a great show that maybe I'll just croak on live on air. But hello. Speaking of people from my home state of New York, Mr. Torrance Banks, who's definitely here. I know he'll be here talking when I have his good friend Saturday night. He wants to say what's up and light power, and yeah. Well, yeah, that
uh,
might be so. That might be so. And also, I have another one here. Definitely need to bring Lestat on the show for sure, and possibly, yeah. I mean, why not? I mean, listen, they can find me here. Hit the sub button for me. I think Lestat and I follow each other on Facebook, so yeah, Brohemoth, I'll talk to anybody, please. We got openings of us. We'll find a time and date. So yeah, let me know, and as long as I won't slip on a banana peel, because I don't want to slip on a banana peel on air or maybe chew a banana on air. One of my biggest fears in doing this in all these years, you'll never forget you'll never forget this here. I do news, right? So I do a show once a week covering news. I know, really mundane. And one of my biggest like phobias is I never eat like an hour or two before I go on the air. Why? Because either I'll throw up or get a stomach ache. So, we'll make sure I don't have a banana before I go on the air. It's one of those things. It's like if you go out there in the ring, you have certain things and it's a serious thing. I mean, listen, I've had Rhino here, Savio Vega, Gary Wolf. I've been featured in this little thing called blabbermouth.net, the heavy metal version of Rolling Stone 4 times. So, that's why I do it that way. And speaking of people, Miss Courtney Wood. I know I heard from a birdie that Courtney is going to be watching you in the ring, whatever you decide to hopefully do this coming weekend. And anything you want to say about the female Dave Meltzer? I'm sure she'll give you a good rating though on your match coming up on Saturday, whatever it is.
like I said, all I can say is thanks because
Yeah.
she's keeping the history of wrestling that some people like to do. So it's
Yeah.
like if it's not big enough for PWI, if it's not big enough for the internet itself, so make sure that it has its place in history.
No, it does, and I think that's kind of why, like Sportswire, I've gained a little niche, not to get too ahead of myself, but there is certainly a contingency of people that want to hear about what's going on in other parts of the wrestling world, not just WWE and AEW and Ring of Honor. I mean, those are great places. I love all the companies out there that give people an opportunity as fans and as talents, but I definitely think that you should check out what Courtney has to say, and she'll definitely be a big part of things coming up at the next WVWF show. And if you'd like to check out also her most recent article about Daphne, she also did a review on one of the most recent shows, the big IWC show that took place this past weekend. So check out Slam Wrestling. This little Hart family's written there, and so is Courtney. So she's got always some good insights, and I appreciate her. And join me in following and check out her article there. But also we'll get to some more comments. And yeah, we'll talk after I get off the air. We'll talk. We'll figure a time and place for Mr. Because after all, if he can go on the Indie Vision podcast, he can certainly come on here. And apparently, this guy Kevin from Ring Crew's here Thursday night. You probably heard of Kevin from Ring Crew. I mean, he's going to be here. I mean, I don't know what it's going to be like, but I mean, he'll be here. So, I'm
He's been
sure
around these things.
he'll have something to say. But I know he'll talk about Prohibition. Yeah, I've heard a few things about him. I heard you know him pretty well, by the way.
Yeah, he's been, he's always been setting up tear down rings, making sure everything's good for shows, and we've chatted once or twice. So yeah, he's been around.
Yeah, I've definitely heard you chatted more than once or twice. I definitely know that you've chatted more than once or twice. And I'm saying nothing else but that because it'll come right back. But yeah, we're gonna talk about that. You just don't you worry about that. And I'll talk about Brohemoth. And yeah, well, I'll find you. Don't you worry. And yeah, we all got eyes. Thank you, Day. And you can see what I can see. That was a Heavy D line years ago. But some people weren't even born when Heavy D was cutting his rhymes out. But thank you, Day. And just don't show no bananas. No pun intended. Eyes and bananas. Yeah, it's a wild one tonight on Sportswire. It's good to be back with people tuning in. I love Courtney so much. Yes, we love Courtney. Thank you, Courtney, for all you do for wrestling. And we appreciate you. Yes, yes, yes. And speaking of people, one of my brethren from Iowa. I mean, maybe you want to travel to other places. I see you going to Indiana August 9th. I heard through the grapevine that Daniel Tafua and Dave Jameson were looking to go to Iowa at some point. So, maybe you'll travel to other states. Would you like to go to other states, Mr. Ampo?
I want to do every state possible. I want to do every country that my passport will take me. I have friends who did 40 days over in Japan, 26 days over in the UK, and I'm right on their heels trying to get over there myself.
Well, I'll tell you what, the UK, I can help you out with the UK. I'm friends with about 3 or 4 different UK wrestling companies still that I'll eventually bring back on. So if you want to go to the UK and the time is right, I definitely can help you out there. I got a few friends still, so that would be certainly one I love to see you wrestle over there. And I'm getting cooked at work. Yeah, it's high. I think everywhere in like the world right now is being cooked. They were dropping nuclear bombs this past weekend. It feels like I went through a nuclear bomb just walking outside today in the Big Apple. So Ox, hang in there, and we'll see you on Sunday for Anthony Steele, and I'm sure during the rest of the week. Thank you, Courtney. Yes, we love Courtney. We're grateful for Courtney. Thank you very much. And I'll also be here for you, Courtney. Yes, and yeah, and Duke Davis, new champion. Yeah, congratulations to Duke. It's a good point. Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah, definitely. When I see that, I'm like, it's about time.
Yeah, finally, right? Finally.
They kept on. Interference, politics, and everything that you see on TV and on the live stream. Just like he finally did what he said he wanted.
Well, you know what? Sometimes things do happen, and yeah, that's a good point. Thank you, Mr. Daniel Tafua, for telling us that. And yeah, Kevin from Ring Crew, I love him. Yeah, he's here. He's here Thursday night. He's here around 10 o'clock. He's here on Thursday night. Yeah, I have no idea what to expect from Kevin from Ring Crew, but yeah, he'll be here. And he's promised he's got a lot of things to say. What? I have no idea about, but certainly he'll talk about Brohemoth. He'll definitely talk about some of the usuals here. And maybe he'll talk to us about being a part of Ring Crew because it's actually one of the more important jobs in wrestling. I mean, listen, my buddy Chris Urban did it. I mean, before he got into the big wrestling companies, he wrestled. So yeah, we'll be talking about him. I'm looking forward to it. Maybe, Mr. Ampo, I know you're not a big fan of the interview with him. Maybe he'll take over from Sportswire. Maybe I'm going to pass the baton to him Thursday night. I'm going to retire. I'm going to say, Kevin from Ring Crew, you're doing such a good job on the Indie Vision podcast. You can host every night for me on Sportswire. So maybe that's what we'll have. We'll have a retirement ceremony, and I'll pass it over to Kevin from Ring Crew. Hopefully. Yeah, it took him a minute. Yeah, it took him a minute to win the title, and he finally did. He definitely deserved the title, and well, then I mean, I can't comment on what people's jobs are, but I got something for you. You want to say something about that? Go ahead. You want to say something about that? Go ahead.
It's just they like to poke
the bear. Yeah.
We're just like, all right. You win. You win. I'm bow out.
Well, yeah, you know what? Everybody's listen. Day's a hothead. I mean, you did, I mean, it wouldn't be Day. I mean, listen, if Day didn't say something, it wouldn't be, wouldn't be Day being here. I mean, to be fair, I can't blame Day. I mean, listen, that's Day's doing his job. He's definitely doing his job, and obviously, I got something for you because there is something that you get here for coming up. Because it's not like other podcasts. Though. Most people ask you the standard questions. They know nothing about you. Me. I've known about you for a while, and I got something special for you because, after all, I don't certainly want to have a bounty on my head because you guys will collect. You want to certainly collect those mutton chops. Maybe you could sell them, to some other country for some, I don't know, some stash or something. But it's officially Ampo Day on all Sportswire radio platforms. So all my platforms, it's your day, sir. And for you being the kaiju of the squared circle, it is your day. And not to be confused with Dave Jamison, DAE. Congratulations. And it has been quite a while since we've tried to get you on here. And congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, don't be too humble. I'll give you the certificate when we're off the air. But, yeah, I mean, and he continues to go on, and he couldn't even tie down the ring skirts. To be fair, I'm going to back up Kevin here because I got a borderline funny joke. I had a job for one day. I worked here in New York City. We have it's the Statue of Liberty, and people go in, they go on the boats, and my job was to tie down the boat when the boat would load onto the dock. I couldn't that whole day figure out how to learn to tie the boat with the rope. And I was like, yeah, this job, I'm not doing this job. So before I saved myself further embarrassment, I didn't show up for the next day of work. So, to be fair, tying things down may be difficult for some people. But yeah, congratulations. Thank you very much. Yes, 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 yes. And we're here for a little while longer. I know you're a busy man, but you got another thing coming up that you've always been a part of here, and I got to talk about because obviously you and Day have always been at the center of things here in SCW, and I got a poster here for it. And talk to me about what's ahead here. Plenty of fireworks, I have no doubt, coming up here on July the 5th.
Well, like you said, me and Day are always in the top headlines of SCW, and the years we've been fighting. We're trying to get back to championship contendership. We think I think we know we're better than the current tag champions. And we got more. We lost the barbed wire ladder match, but we're not going to sit at the back of the line. So we're going to force our way up. And at SCW, I got the email that I am facing a person by the name of Maul. And it's not the first time that I've been against this person. So I'm already scouted them out. I know what's going to happen. And there's just another stop sign another stop sign on the GPS to the.
But still, you want to get a W here because you guys have just been intertwined in some really big storylines in SCW, and you certainly want to make an example of your opponent here coming up.
Yes, because definitely it's a little, either a full year or a little bit over a year since I've been in SCW. And I've always told Dave, wherever I get my foot in, I'm going to make sure you at least get your pink in. Once you get your pink in, it's on you to get in with me. So I got in. I showed all these people what I'm about. They loved it. Brought Dave with me. We had a little butting of heads, you can say. Mm-hmm. But after we got our frustrations out on each other, we'd be able to stay on this path that will lead to championship club.
I see that you guys have a lot of championship gold on the horizon. You hold gold now. You've held some gold in other places, and obviously that's something that's very, very important is to continue to grow the group. And let me ask you this question about the collective. Are you guys looking to collect more members? I haven't got a chance to ask you guys that in the past. Are you guys looking to collect more members? Maybe.
Well, I mean, we always have our ears open, whereas looking on who might be ready to be a member. It's just it has to be right place, right time. You can't just walk in first day like, oh yeah, I'm with the collective. Is you have to show that you want this as much as us or more. So it's more than just a T-shirt, more than just a logo. It's even more than a family. It's like a hive mind. So,
No, that's a good point. Because when I always hear the family line, that's always what somebody or a group is successful with. I had a background covering college sports, mostly college basketball, and the teams that I used to have on my show years back when I first started out, when they were successful, always talked about family. You have more than a family bond, you're going to be successful, and there's no question that all of you have been extremely successful so far. And also, before we get to a few other things, it is Ampo Day here once again on all Sportswire radio platforms. We'll give that to Ampo when we're off the air, and we want to thank everybody. And if you're here, hit the sub button for us, like, share, and subscribe. And we have Kevin from Ring Crew on Thursday. And also I should break it here because I'm sure people will really want to know about this. Friday, Michael McMoney's on Sportswire Friday night. He's back once again. So I think Thursday and Friday, you'll see some of the same people here. So I'm sure there'll be plenty to discuss. I'm not sure what yet, but I'm sure there'll be plenty to discuss. Let me ask you this question, though, before we get to some other things here. You mentioned the WVWF, obviously being a part of the show here coming up this Saturday. And let's say you did get the opportunity to answer that open challenge from Dax Preacher. Would you have any final words for him coming up before this Saturday?
uh, I'll just tell him what I tell everybody. If you have a shot, don't miss, and you better not leave me.
Well, if you have a shot and don't miss, yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to miss. And I definitely don't want to miss talking about the WVWF, the Summer Clash. And summer is now in full swing, and the WVWF is going to be a part of it. And I even know that the WVWF has got several shows coming up here these next few. It's going to be a very busy time here. Hopefully, your schedule will be cleared for it because I understand that the WVWF has a couple of shows in the month of July even. So it's a very, very busy time in the world of the WVWF. And you can follow the WVWF on Instagram, YouTube. Check them out on a number of different platforms. And since I do see that we are here on YouTube and I see that we're also on Instagram, before I get to a few other things, I got to put up the WVWF's YouTube page because every subscriber helps them. They've listened. They put our stuff on their poster. I got to return the favor because wrestling's about receipts. You got to give your receipts, and I got to give my receipt back and make sure we support the good people of the WVWF. And you can do that here, right there. Hit the sub button for them. Let's get them to 50 subscribers. You can see some stuff there. And definitely please support our friends, so many of them that come on here on Sportswire Radio. And Courtney's going to be there Saturday, hopefully, God willing. And she'll write a report. She'll talk to me about it. And she'll definitely give you, Ampo, the best match of the night because you brought it up. You'll get the best match of the night from Courtney. She'll make sure whatever her rating score is, it'll be just the best one ever. So definitely, I know tough. Now Courtney's got all the pressure on the world on her, but yes, do that. Okay, before I sign off, I had to ask you, what were your memories wrestling Joshua Kavad?
I mean, it was definitely early in my career, and
I saw you wrestled him during COVID. I saw in 2020 you wrestled him. That was interesting. A lot of guys weren't even wrestling, and yet you were wrestling during COVID. That's interesting.
yeah, a lot of people found their own secluded areas, made sure everybody got tested, and try to create as much content as possible because that's all that was there for COVID. Couldn't go outside, couldn't Some of us couldn't even go to work. It was just
Oh, it was
stuck
terrible.
at
I
home.
had British wrestlers on my platform. That's how I got started. And they didn't wrestle in some cases. They didn't go back out there until the end of 2021. So it was like really depressing. I remember talking to guys, and there was one guy that said he couldn't so he couldn't work out in the gym, so we had to like makeshift like in his garage, like what he did to makeshift weights was like crazy. It was like sandbags and water and tying stuff in plastic bags. It was just crazy what people had to do just to stay ready. Almost, it was really sad. Yeah.
Because they did the earliest of old-fashioned way of dog session. So yeah, so it was so during COVID, uh, it was it was I wasn't a nice cat on COVID, so when I was up with Kavod, it was me pushing myself to see if to prove that I'm better. But at that time, I was a little too full of myself, so I didn't get the W that night.
Well,
But it's definitely something. It's definitely a match that I need to run back myself.
oh, I think you definitely will, and I think that there'll definitely be a time and place for that. And obviously, you've had some matches with some people that have been familiar faces. One, Pav Novak, has certainly been talked about here on this platform a bit. You've been in the ring with Mr. Pav Novak. You've certainly had some battles with the Syndicate, so you know your way around different people that get talked about on here. Who knows? Pav Novak could be coming on Sportswire. That's somebody that a lot of people would like to hear of.
There's a lot of things that happened within the last 6 weeks between certain territories, we'll say, and everybody needs to speak their words. That's all.
That's it. That's totally it. And yes, yeah, we love Pav. We love Pav, but that's somebody that people really want to hear from, and you'll get him soon. Trust me. Yes, let's go. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Brittany. And yeah, we'll get everybody back on here. And got to be nice now. Prince Psycho. Some people are a little slow. Well, that's not true. We're not going to certainly say that, but yeah, hit the sub button for the WVWF. And before I get to closing thoughts, I know you're a very, very busy man. It has been an absolute honor to have you, but is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything else you want to promote, plug, share, or say before we get ready for closing thoughts?
All I have to say is mental health is real.
It's Men's Mental Health Month this month. Thank you for bringing that up. Yep.
Yeah, I say mental health is real. Um, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. Basically, more who's going to help you at the. If you talk to somebody, Don't hold it in.
Yeah. It's very important. I can tell you that there's a wrestler that has come on my platform from the UK, and mental health is so serious that he wrestled his match. This is about over a year ago, about 14, 15 months ago. And he decided midway in the match that because of his mental health that he didn't want to wrestle no more. He finished the match. Wasn't his best match, admittedly. What do I know? But I did watch it. We watched it on here, and mental health was that serious that Mr. Ampo that he didn't want to go out there and wrestle, and he hasn't gone out since. There's some different rumblings about him, but yeah, mental health is a very serious thing, and we see people going through so many different things out there in the world. So if there's anybody that needs a hand or anybody wants to talk, my DMs are open. I'm also here anytime on Sportswire, so definitely give me a comment, Mr. Ampo. Well, he's certainly a busy man, but definitely pass it along to those he may know. But definitely, please let anybody else know out there that they care. And somebody would like to say what's up to you. Definitely, you have some fans. Some fans are here. And if you are here and you're here for the first time, we're here with Ampo the Destroyer, and it's Ampo Day. It's Ampo Day here on all Sports Wire radio platforms. And if you like what you see from us, hit the sub button for me. And hello, yes, hello, thank you. And hello, and hello. And what you just walked into was Ampo the Destroyer talked about his upcoming matches in JICW. He'll be a part of the WVWF Summer Class show. He'll also be a part of SCW in 2 weekends from now, and you'll see him in some other places, I'm sure. Stay tuned for all of that. And oh, by the way, he'll be defending those USWA Tag Team Championships alongside Lestat very, very soon. And it's like I said, it's Ampo Day on all Sportswire radio platforms. My friend, it has been an absolute honor. I want to give you the last word. Any closing thoughts? Anything else you want to plug, share, or say? Be my guest.
Well, I just got a notification from an email from my USWA while we were on the air.
Oh, yeah?
And I want to give you another exclusive.
Oh, you are just such a gentleman and a Rhodes Scholar. You tell me what that exclusive is, Mr. Rampo.
So September 13th is next time USWA will have a show. And the main event of that night will be me, Ampo, the Casual Sports Circle, and the Stat defending our USWA Tag Team Championships against a New York team.
New York team?
Yes. They are the current Pro Wrestling Magic World Tag Team Champions.
Pro Wrestling Magic? I know Pro Wrestling Magic. I've had Pro Wrestling Magic on my platform. Do tell.
So the ruthless Lala, Miss Whatever You Do, some have considered a sister, and Isaiah Wolf.
Isaiah Wolf? Whoa!
Yes. So it'll be the collective versus prolific for the USWA Tag Team Championships.
Wow!
September 13th.
Whoa! What? That is huge news here, ladies and gentlemen. Huge news that the USWA Tag Team Champions, September 13th, the last weekend of summer, are going to be defending those championships against the Pro Wrestling Magic champions. I know Pro Wrestling Magic. I've had the owner of Pro Wrestling Magic on here in Steve Off. Darius Carter, some would say the best indie wrestler out there, not to be in any of the big three companies, number 152 in the PWF 500. I just talked about him with Rad Dad Radley Belmont. So the fact that we're talking about Prolific, oh my God. This is exactly a reason why you want to follow USWA. This is exactly a reason why you want to follow Pro Wrestling Magic. And this is actually a reason why we're going to continue to talk about what's going on here with those USWA Tag Team Champions of the world and have plenty else to say about this because last I checked, September 13th is still a few weeks away, and that gives us plenty of time here to talk about those USWA Tag Team Champions. And Isaiah Wolf, I know Isaiah Wolf. I know him very well. So the fact that you guys are going to be in the ring with him, oh boy, buckle up. Buckle up, fasten your seatbelts. That is the definition of a main event. That is the definition of prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage. That I can't wait for. And yeah, I'm with Daniel Tafua. Happy Ampo Day. And Ampo Day just certainly got made here and something. Yeah, I mean, maybe Louisiana. Maybe you want to go down to the Bayou State.
Yeah, man. I mean, I will be there. I'll be wherever the fans want us to be.
Well, I'll tell you what, the fans seem like they spoke a lot tonight. Yes, very exciting news, and I am going to be a banger. I'll talk about that, and definitely mental health awareness is a big deal, and it's a big deal for a lot of people, and especially what's going on in the world. And trust me, we do agree. And Desperados will kick some butt. Well, stay tuned. But obviously, Mr. Rampo, thank you so much for being here with us. This was a very memorable episode. It was a lot of fun. It was a fun episode. It was a nice bounce back episode after last night's show. So I look forward to what's ahead. I hope that you'll come back on before September 13th. I know Day will be around. Mr. Lestat, I will definitely talk to him, and certainly Mr. Brohemoth as well, because I caught him earlier in the chat. So thank you so much for all you do for our sport. Thank you for what you and the collective are doing. I look forward to seeing what's ahead in the WVWF this weekend, SCW the following weekend, and certainly good luck to you, JICW August 9th, and the best is yet to come, my friend. So thank you, and we'll see you soon. That is the man that is the kaiju of the squared circle. That is the one and only Ampo the Destroyer, one half of those reigning, defending USWA tag team champions. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. You have voiced figuratively and literally where all music and wrestling matters. And Daniel Tafua also wants to say there will be a poll open soon. USWA Universal Champion. Who will be Daniel Tafua's opponent? Go to Facebook page USWA to find out more. If you are here on Sportzwire Radio, hit that sub button for us. Like, share, and subscribe. Follow all the great companies that come on here like USWA, SCW, JICW, Pro Wrestling Magic. And we will be back here tomorrow, time to be announced, depending on how I feel. But definitely thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, on the number one global radio station that is Sportzwire Radio, where all music and wrestling matters. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.